What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing for the Uninhibited Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Krista Danis, and Krista is the Events and Program Coordinator at the Aurora Public Library, specializing in planning and development of library-wide events, coordinating programs for adults, and facilitating and scheduling exhibits. And so today she's joining us to let us know what's going on with our Aurora Public Library. I've really missed that place, and I know my stepdaughter has too. So I'm excited to hear from you today.
Yeah, well, hello, everyone. Hi, Miranda. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yes, welcome.
If my cat goes crazy around me, he's sort of my new coworker.
The best kind.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm lucky to work at the library and to be the events and program coordinator. I get to do all the fun stuff, the planning of the fun, programs and family events, and coordinating exhibits, programs, and events is a lot of fun too. So I'm really happy to be here to talk about what we've been doing. We have been very busy since the whole shutdown happened. So I can't wait to start telling you all about all of our stuff.
Yes, I'm excited to learn. So we'll just dive right in. We do have a set of questions today. So the first question I had was, of course, as Illinois enters phase 4 and things are starting to open back up in Illinois, can you just update us on the status of things over there?
Sure, absolutely. So, people all across Aurora in this area use the library for, many, many different reasons. They use it for materials, picking up materials and books and, things like that. They use it for e-learning resources and as a community hub and a center and a space to connect. Mm-hmm. And people use it a lot for our technology, like our computers and printers. Yeah. So we recently in June, around phase 3, implemented our curbside holds pickup by appointment service. So every location right now, you can put yourself on hold online, and you can then schedule a time to come pick it up at the library. It's completely contactless. So we will, deposit it in an open window or in your trunk when you pull up, and you're good to go. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can still get those books that you really want, and you can not have to worry about, any safety, issues there. We know that safety is one of the most important things for us right now to be considering for our people that are engaging with the library. So this is a really good way to do that and still get our books in people's hands. People love those books.
Yes. No, that's what I've missed the most. I think I've bought more books in the past 3 months than in the past 3 years because I didn't have access to the library. And I'm sure a lot of people are feeling that. So what's the best way to put books on hold? Is online the best way?
Yeah, so you can scroll and browse through our online website, our online collection, and put something on hold that way. Or you can call us at 630-264-4117 and talk to a person in our phone bank who will be able to kind of help facilitate that for you if that's easier.
Great.
Wow. We will give you a call back and schedule a time for you to come to whatever branch works for you. And you just pull up into a numbered parking spot, give us a text, and we'll come out with your stuff.
Wow, that's super exciting. I'm probably going to do that today. And also return all of the library books I've had this entire time.
Yes.
So get those back.
Who don't have the mobility to come to the library, we have extended our home delivery program. It's like a drop and go holds delivery. Our outreach services department, who's also in charge of our Bookmobile, they've expanded that traditional homebound delivery service that we always offer at the library. It now includes, anyone whose Bookmobile stop is their primary branch when we're open. So while our Bookmobile is currently, out of service, it's not doing its regular stops, we will come to you in our mini bee, which is our little minivan.
Oh, cool. Fun.
Drop off your items. Yeah. So if you don't have reliable transport, or if you are, a self-identified vulnerable person in a vulnerable population where the safety is a heightened concern, if your Bookmobile, if that is your normal location that you check out from, if you have any injury or illness, or if you live 2 miles away from any location of the library, you can set up a time for us and put a hold through for us, and we'll come and drop it off at your place.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know this is a little out of order, but what is the status of the Bookmobile? So what's the rotation there?
So currently the Bookmobile is not doing its stops.
Okay.
You know, we're in phase 4, so our locations are still, working through that process and stuff. So the Bookmobile is not on the road currently.
Okay.
But the mini bee will come to you if you need your stuff. So you can contact the library and we can schedule that and set that up for you.
Great. And in addition to placing books on hold online, what other online resources are going to be available this summer?
Yeah, so we have plenty of online e-learning resources. There's lynda.com, where you can do some professional development trainings.
Right.
There are jobs now, all right? So this is a good place for a lot of people now, unfortunately, to go to try and check out what jobs are available in the area. We've got Pronunciator if you want to learn a new language. We have so many online databases for you to check out. And then we also have access to a whole, digital collection of materials in ebooks and in e-audiobooks. So if you're familiar with the Hoopla app or the Overdrive app, those are 2 really important things to know about. So you just download it onto your device, and you can put in your library card number for the Aurora Public Library, and you can access all of our online materials, books, and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. I was not familiar with that, so I will have to download those too.
Yeah.
Then I wanted to touch on real quick, because I saw this when I was poking around on the website, becoming a literacy sponsor.
Yeah, so that's a new service that we have started through the foundation. So the Aurora Public Library Foundation is our fundraising arm. And they do all that very important work that way. So being a literacy hero basically means that you are supporting our efforts to put books in children's hands in partnership with our local food pantries.
Okay, great.
So your monthly donation or any donation could help provide a book monthly to each family who receives food from the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry or the Aurora Area Interfaith Food Pantry. So you can make a one-time donation, or you can set yourself up for monthly donations to the foundation. And you can visit their website, Aurora Public Library. Well, it's actually aplfoundationil.org.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure to link to that in the show notes so that anybody who's interested in learning more will link to all of this stuff, because you've provided a lot of resources today.
Yeah.
And then yeah, exactly. Which is so great to know that, I guess I just didn't know or wasn't researching how to still interact with the library. So this is all great news to me. And how is the community responding to all of these changes? I know that that's such a huge hub, especially in Aurora. Right.
Yeah, it is. So the community has been responding really, really well. A lot of positive response to these, these alternate services, the curbside and this home delivery. We've opened up student library cards to those who don't necessarily live in the city of Aurora. So anyone who's a student, anyone who's a student at any of the school districts that Aurora serves or that serve Aurora, can get a library card, without any worry of charge or anything like that for being outside of Aurora.
Right. So how do you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's been well received too, because people are like, well, how can we get information? How can we do our studies and continue reading and participating in summer reading, when the school's closed and then now going into summer. So it's been a great response to that.
Yeah, I think that's great. And how can people apply for a library card if they can't go inside?
They can visit our website or they can call. So that first number I mentioned is our main number right now, 264-4117. And you can call there and get information and get an application, sent to you, or you can access it online at aurorapubliclibrary.org. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And you've been sorry. I'm just so excited.
No, I think there's a tiny delay, so we're just barely clipping each other.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
We also have public computer use by appointment. That's another thing that people really use the library a lot for is those computers, and that was one of the first things that we wanted to be able to get up and running as fast as possible and as safely as possible. So phase 4 came around and we're ready with computer use. You can call or check out our website to make an appointment and come in for an hour a day and use our computer. It's safe. It's, we're cleaning constantly, there's very few people in the library, so you can do that too. So, and that's kind of well received too.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys have done a really good job of kind of pivoting and then not like you're offering new services. Some of them are new, but a lot of them were existing. So just highlighting those so that people are aware and then offering students those library cards. I think that's a fantastic job during this time. And then what about our homeless community? Because I know with Hesed House having limited spots and they have Tent City up right now, but we're entering, this heat wave where everybody, we're just talking about if you have AC, a lot of ACs are even going out. And so the library can be a nice, cool place, especially during the summertime.
Yeah, exactly. We are a cooling center and a warming center, and that in almost every circumstance, always we will be open. But this one situation, it just isn't safe. You know what I mean? And it is something that we're concerned about. So people use our library for a lot of things. So when COVID hit, we Hesed House and we were in contact, and we've been able to work with them to at least provide some materials, sort of like a lobby stop, where we can drop off a small collection, and we have a small collection going at Hesed House to at least have some materials available there, for when they're there. And we hope to be up and running and seeing people's faces again very, very soon, as soon as possible, because we know how important that is. But we continue to try to find those innovative, kind of agile ways to serve our community and also be safe.
Right. Yeah. Safety is the most important thing right now. And then how are you taking care of yourself, and how's the rest of the staff at the library doing?
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. It's, as we start to kind of go back into the building and everything, we are being very, very, very careful to make sure that we're taking care of each other and taking care of each other's safety. Masks, obviously, all of that is available and abundant. Gloves or quarantining materials, we have like bubbles of shifts, so people are kind of coming in, on different rotations.
Oh, good.
So there's not too many people, in the building at once. And so that's been a good way that we've been taking care of each other, and then me personally, I've just kind of been trying to spend as much time outside as possible and get that vitamin D, and try to keep up with the virtual yoga, all those things that kind of keep you centered or keep you, kind of grounded, because, you're right. You got to take care of yourself to be able to take care of others. So.
Exactly. And I know we were just talking before we started recording that I just felt like things were getting crazy over the past month, with scheduling, especially if you have kids at home and you've got pets and you're like, everyone's around each other a lot more than they're used to being at home. So taking care of yourself is super important, and setting your boundaries.
Yeah, that's definitely important.
Yeah, I think we're all learning that right now.
Right.
And then lastly, how can we support you guys at the library? And is there anything else we can do for it's called the Literacy Hero program?
Yeah, Literacy Heroes. Or also it's been called Literacy Sponsor. Okay. So both, it's the same thing. And just check out the Aurora Public Library Foundation website. You can support that way. Also supporting by coming to our virtual events and attending our virtual programs. We have a lot of that going on. We kind of tried to keep the momentum of our programming and events going, in a virtual space. So the summer reading program, we are registering people. It's from July 1st through July 31st. And you can complete activities, and you can get rewards and badges, and can get, there's a lot going on there. So check out our website for that. And then we have a Comic-Con coming up.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, August 10th. It's a week-long virtual celebration of all comics and graphic novels. It's a very popular genre. So we wanted to kind of celebrate that. And so that's coming. It's called Cape Con, and it's coming August 10th. So keep your eye out for that, and just attending those programs and checking out what we're doing and supporting us on social media. And then, of course, through the foundation, any kind of donation is always welcome.
That's great. Yes. Thank you so much for being here today and for all these wonderful resources. I was not aware of most of these. And so I hope I'm sure people will get a lot out of this. And I appreciate all that you guys are doing right now. I know, the library is just a community hub that everyone loves. So
that's right. Thank you so much,
guys.